Oh, snap. Yo, what to do? You're live. Uh, I gotta go pick up my daughters, but before I do, let me drop this bomb on y'all real quick. I already did this video, but I didn't like it. But this has to do with the things I wish I would have done while in the military or done more of, whichever way you look at it. Look, if you're in your first enlistment, this is one thing that you should definitely watch. If you're in your first enlistment or you're thinking about the military, watch this video, man. It's gonna do you some solid. Yo, first place I went, Okinawa, Japan. Great place. Parted my ass off. But if there's one thing I wish I would have done more, would be learn a different language. I didn't do that. Terrible at it. I wish I would have done that. I would have learned Japanese. I would have been able to watch anime as much as I want now without having to worry about subtitles or waiting for the conversion of the dub. That would have been dope. Met a lot of people there. Did a lot of traveling while I was there and after. So that was good. Did a lot of traveling, which is the second thing I wish I would have done more of, is continue to travel. Look, like, technology is great. You're sitting there on Instagram, you're scrolling through, you see some dope places, man. Dope places, dope food. Go to those places. You have the money, you have the time. And I'm saying you have the money, you have the time, because look, in a year, for you military folk out there, you accumulate 30 days of paid vacation. Use them up. There's no reason why you should ever have to give back those vacation days. I can't quite remember if it's 60 days that you can amount to, as far as like the total you can have in the books. Every year it restarts, or every fiscal year. So October 1st, if you have more than 60 days, I believe it's 60 days. If you got more than 60 days in the books, they take it all away, unless there's some things out there that you can work and get it waived, so you can have more days in the books. Deployments can do that, or different circumstances will allow you to accumulate over 60 days come October 1st. But for y'all out there, there's no reason why you can't travel. If you are in the East Coast, no reason why you can't go to New York, especially if you're single. You know what I'm saying? If you're single and you ain't got no kids, definitely get your ass out there and travel. There's nothing more rewarding than finding out that you just experienced a different culture, tasted the culture's food, felt the vibe. Like, I'm not talking about like traveling, going to Vegas. I'm talking about like going somewhere foreign, like going somewhere foreign where you don't even know the language, and you got to sit there with whatever apps you have on your phone to convert your English to whatever language that you're trying to have a conversation with. Like, that's the type of travel I'm talking about. Got to experience that. I sure wish I would have learned Japanese. So, one, I would wish I would have learned the language. Two, I wish I would have traveled more, especially now that there's Instagram and it shows me different destinations that are very accessible. Like, this day and age is very accessible. It's very easy to travel throughout the country. No reason why you can't do that. You get paid first and 15th. Put some money away. Third thing, I wish I would have stuck. I wish I would have stuck to the idea of getting my education and my first enlistment, started it. I wish I would have just started it. Look, you're going to do your professional military educations, your PMEs, which is a great baseline to really building those mental calluses on what it looks like to having to study after you're in uniform. Like, you take your uniform off, you're in your living space, you're starting to build those mental calluses. Instead of going out partying with the boys and girls, you're inside your spot, getting your education. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, if you would have done that, and you're thinking about like not doing it, or you're in my position where you got it, high five. But there's a lot of cats that have that regret of not having started it and then getting out, having not started it, and now they're in a position where they have to get that secondary education. You see that right there? You see that right there? That right there, that piece of paper, it allows me to get my foot in the door. That's just a bachelor's. I'm working on my master's right now, my MBA. That gets the door open and allows me to put my foot in it. But if you got your MBA, it allows you to open that door completely wide open and walk in. So I'm telling you, there's a different level to this shit. It's great to have, all these stories that you can tell when you're going through an interview process, but you can't even have those interview processes if you don't have, one, you don't have the education or the certificates, and two, if you just don't have the expertise, or at least the lingering feeling or notion that you can give off that you might know what you're talking about. So that's another thing right there. Is education. It's free. It's free. All you got to do is commit a little bit of your time. You start, like, look, if you're in your first enlistment, there's nothing wrong like going out there and just trying to figure out who you are in those first 2 years. But as soon as you hit that second year, you got to sit down and really just hone down your skills to want to do something. And this is it. This is the something I'm talking about. Do your education, get that thing started. It's free. And if you decide to get out after 2 years and you have your associates, man, it's so much easier just to roll into that secondary, lifestyle where you're going to be a student and that's all you're going to do. The in addition to, like, if you do get out and you have your associates, you can use your GI Bill where you get paid as an E5, I believe, with dependents, which is a lot of money. And I say that you get paid as far as like housing, basic housing allowance. So if you're in like LA, that might be 2,500 or $3,000. I don't know what it is. I'll have to look it up, or you can look it up. But you just type, if you're on Google, you could type in BAH military, hit enter, and then I'm sure there's like an app out there. Military.com might have an app, and you can just type in your zip code that you wish to go to as far as school, and it gives you, the government will give you the money for that zip code, right? Give you money for living expenses, rent apartment, pay for books. Like, that GI Bill goes a long way, man. That's the best scholarship out there. So education, no reason why you can't get out having one started, and two, if you stayed in long enough. If you're getting out and then you're in like year 12, year 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and you don't have your credentials yet, you don't have that piece of paper that says you might be educated, boy, you slacking, man. You a bad example to these youngins. So, like, that's one thing that y'all can do. Lastly, save that money. Look, I was investing in that TSP like straight out of boot camp. Like, money goes in there. I forgot about it for a minute, and then one day I got this piece of mail because I finally updated my address on Military Online or Marines Online, MOL. I finally updated it one day, and like a month later, I received a quarterly report for my TSP, and I was like, dang, I got money. I didn't even know. So that was pretty dope. But what I wish I would have done more of was invest more money into the market, man. There was a time when I was deployed, and there was this cat that was investing. He was buying it, like, it was 2008 at this time, or 2007, 2000. I think it was 2008. Fannie Mac was going down the drain, and he's over there like just drooling because we're getting tax-free money. He's taking grands on grands every 1st and 15th and just stuffing it into that investment circuit. Fannie Mac, he was buying it because it was on the low. We got back, and I bet he showed me that pay stub, man. He showed me that bank account later. That thing grew. You know what I'm saying? Like if I would have done that back then, I can only imagine where I'd be at. So, like, there's the stuff y'all can do. There's a lot of things that you can do while in the military. Yeah, getting good at your job. Like, look, it's gonna happen. Look, I hate to tell you, but if you got great leaders out there, no matter what you do, you're going to become really good at your job if you have great leaders. If you have shitty leaders, I'm sorry, you're going to have to dedicate yourself. They're not going to teach you anything. But majority of the time, there's a great leader that's going to show you what's up. They're not in that position because they don't know what they're doing. They're in that position because they've earned it. Two, they're able to teach and coach and mentor cats to do what they do. So one time or 2 times or 3 times, they could be out of office and you could take over. Or you can be in my position where you retire and there's youngins out there that take over. So yeah, get that education, travel, save money, get to know people. I wish I would have learned that language of Japanese. If I did, I'd be watching an unlimited anime. But yeah, I kept the other 10 minutes, so that's dope. But if you got any questions about the military, feel free to put that shit in the comments. Share, like, subscribe. Later.